Here's Cal Crutchlow, starts his 3rd year in the MotoGP World Championship, equals his best ever qualifying performance. That was at Bruno last year when he was 2nd fastest. Couple of podiums last year, and he is on fire at the moment. Can he challenge those prototype bikes? He says no. I think he's balking a bit. I think he's got every chance of being right in amongst them.
Great crowd, isn't there, turned up here in the grandstands. It's filling up nicely out there.
Also, just to give you an idea of tyre choice, now we have track temperature of around 23 degrees, which is, again, cooler than it's been mostly, and the majority have turned up with the softer option rear tyre. I will go up the grid and double check that with all the others, but that looks to be the choice, hard front, softer rear. Yeah,
that's what we have here as well in front of us, handed to us by Bridgestone. Everyone has gone for the softer rear option. That's the medium tyre. But that obviously is very, very interesting. Raul Gonzalez, the former Real Madrid superstar, Spanish international player as well. He's out. That's Michel Salgado alongside him as well. Former, I would say Real Madrid, I'll say Blackburn as well then.
Yeah, would you please?
I'm actually just down on the grid here with Nicky Hayden. Nicky, you're in 11th. I'm guessing you'd like to be further up, but we've seen some promising signs with the Ducati. What's your feeling ahead of this race?
Yeah, well, of course, it would be nice to be closer to the front, but we've made a little improvement this morning. Certainly not where I want to be, but now it's all time to just ride the bike and not think about nothing else. And I feel like if I can get a good start here, I can salvage a decent result. So I really want to put up a good fight here and start the season off in a good way.
Well, thanks a lot, Nicky.
Yeah, we had a look at his teammate, didn't we, Andrea Dovizioso, who had done brilliantly in qualifying. He's qualified 4th. Alongside him on that 2nd row of the grid, Stefan Bradley only just got into the main qualifying session in 10th place, but certainly has sorted the problems out. And of course, a Moto2 winner here back in 2011 when he went on to win the championship. He made his MotoGP debut here last year, where he finished in 8th place. So Bradle, I think, along with Crutchlow, can be the man to ruffle the feathers of the factory
make
bikes.
A good start, then he will be right in amongst it.
Marc Marquez has looked superb up till qualifying when he had a few problems and a little bit of a collision with his own teammate, Danny Pedrosa. It's his MotoGP debut. Everybody's been waiting for this moment. He is a star of the future. He's a star already, but he's a star of the future in MotoGP, surely a world champion. And I just think we're going to have to wait this season to see when he wins his first Grand Prix.
Valentino Rossi makes his return to Yamaha. It was such a difficult couple of years for him at Ducati, but he's back with the factory he won 4 world championships with, gets a huge reception from the crowd here. He's looked really good in pre-season testing, right back on the pace, got stuck in traffic during qualifying, but his pace suggests he's got a good shout of the podium today.
This is Alvaro Bautista. He's qualified 8th fastest on that 3rd row of the grid. Nasty injury to his little finger that happened with the testing in Jerez.
And he's gone with the soft front tyre, which is very interesting.
Didn't he did that somewhere else and
and
finished on the podium. I'm racking my brain to think where it was.
Was it a soft rear though, rather than
it probably was,
front?
but he didn't go with the norm, didn't he?
This is Bradley Smith, who lines up in his debut Grand Prix in MotoGP from the outside of the 3rd row.
Yeah, done really well in practice and qualifying. Bradley Smith is the youngest rider to be on the top 10 at qualifying in a MotoGP race since Neil Hodgson back in 1995.
Someone else making their debut here, Brian Starring, going fun, Honda Grassini. What's it been like so far? Your first time here, first race in MotoGP. What are you expecting for the race?
Just get in, dig in, and do my best, I guess. I don't know, I mean, we're not starting from the best grid position, but doesn't make too much difference to me. I'm going to give it everything I've got and hope to make a good start and come through as best I can.
Best of luck. Cheers.
What has he got to lose?
Nothing at all. He's down in 23rd place. It's a 24-rider grid, of course. His MotoGP debut. He has ridden in 1 Grand Prix, and I didn't realise that until I did a bit of checking. Phillip Island, 2004, in the 125cc class. So It's his debut in MotoGP when he has ridden before. Now, Aleix Espargaro has, well, he was great last year. I tell you what, he's just carried on, isn't he? He has really looked in good form.
Yeah, really all weekend going beyond what any expectations you already had of him. Top CRT last season, and he's top CRT on the grid. He was so much quicker than his teammate Randy Depunier. Depunier fought back in qualifying. Espargaro, though, did make it through to the qualifying final. He was the only CRT runner to do that. It meant Ben Spies missed out, but Ben had a nasty crash during practice. He's still not back to 100%. Operation on his right shoulder after the Sepang crash that ended his career with Yamaha last year. But great that he's back, and great that he's fine after that nasty off that meant he missed out in qualifying. His second bike, he said, just wasn't up to scratch.
This is Randy Depunier. Yeah, struggled a little bit compared with his teammate Aleix Espargaro, but he's qualified on the 5th row of the grid in 14th place. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. Now, Lucas Peszek, because we know him as a 125 and 250cc rider, 125cc Grand Prix winner. He really did well in qualifying on his MotoGP debut, and he's qualified on the 5th row in 15th place.
That's brilliant. Really good performance from Lucas Peszek on his debut in MotoGP. Former Grand Prix winner in the 125cc class back in the day. Johnny Hernandez down there in 16th place, riding for the British PBM squad this season, the only Colombian in the World Championship, and he heads up row 6. His teammate Michael Laverty is at the back of the grid. If you want to know the disparity there, Hernandez is actually on the full ART bike, whereas Laverty's on a kind of hybrid PBM, home-built chassis by that Paul Bird Motorsport team with the Aprilia engine.
Welcome back to Grand Prix racing for the former 250cc world champion, Hiroshi Oyama. He was third here in the 250cc race on that first year in 2004. Of course, a few problems when he went to MotoGP World Superbike last year, didn't work out, and he's now back riding for the Avintia Bluesons team.
Carol Abraham is in 18th spot, not the only Czech in the championship, so when you're down there in CRT, that will be a nice, interesting battle between Peszek and Abraham, as he lines up on the 6th row of the grid on the outside there. And heading up the 7th row is the elder statesman now of MotoGP, Colin Edwards. And I tell you what, I was chatting to him earlier, really looking forward to racing in Texas next time out as well.
Yeah, riding with a Kawasaki engine and an FTR frame this time round. I think he's happier about that.
Yeah, remember he was top CRT here last year.
With the Suter BMW.
And then he just went backwards in terms of the electronics, and everyone else pushed on past them. That's what they've been working on this year, is improving those electronics.
One of the nicest men in Grand Prix racing, Danilo Petrucci, the Italian, who started his career in MotoGP last year, riding the Iota Suter bike, obviously the frame and engine that Colin Edwards used last year. Another Italian, Claudio Corti, 3 Moto2 podiums for him. One final ride, wasn't last year in Valencia, he rode in the MotoGP class, so a second ride for him, but he will be Colin Edwards' teammate.
Hector Barbara heads up the back row of the grid. Electrical problems for him during practice, couldn't get the bike started for a bit, finally went out the last minute he put in his lap after he looked like he might not even set a time in qualifying qualifying 1, should I say, and he just picked Starring for 22nd. Starring is there in 23rd, the only Australian in MotoGP this year, but he's right up for it, and in a good team with that FTR Honda. Everything to learn for him this weekend. It's a new circuit, new championship, new bike and everything. It's a great, it's painted on head. I love it.
Michael Lafferty makes his Grand Prix debut at 31 years old, 5th in the British Superbike Championship last year. Very much a learning year for him, and of course his younger brother Eugene Lafferty, former 250cc Grand Prix rider, and now riding in the World Superbike Championship. Feel the tension, can't you?
5 minutes roughly to go before the start. Hard front, medium rear. That's the soft option, though, for all 3 on the front. And I suppose it's a case of if your mates are doing it, if your rivals are doing it, you've got to sort of stick with them. Don't want to stick your neck out too much.
I was talking with Carmine from Bridgestone, and he said one of the advantages of the softer front is, yes, you don't have as much stability under braking, but it does give you far more edge grip. So obviously Bautista must feel that little bit more comfortable going into the braking zones, but just needs that bit more stability when he's going around the corners.
So 22 laps of the Losail International Circuit, the opening round of the 2013 MotoGP World Championship. Front row of the grid, Danny Pedrosa, Cal Crutchlow, but in pole position. He's the world champion. He won the race from pole last season. It's Jorge Lorenzo as we have a quick look at Valentino Rossi.
Safety car makes its way. It's 5 minutes before the start of the race. And this is your lineup in 2013.
They are ready. We are ready. Are you ready back at home? Here we go. The opening round of the World Championship. What a front row. Lorenzo, Crutchlow, Pedrosa. Second row, Dovizioso, Bradle and Marquez.
Valentino Rossi back with Yamaha, heads up the third row of the grid. Alvaro Bautista and Bradley Smith in his debut alongside. Andrea Iannone heads up row 4 with former champ Nicky Hayden and Aleix Espargaro, the top CRT.
Row 5, Ben Spies, Grand Prix winner at this level. Randy De Punier and Lucas Pecek. Row 6, Yoni Hernandez, Hiroshi Oyama back in MotoGP, and Carl Abraham.
The back two rows, Colin Edwards in 19th spot. He's 39 this year, the veteran of the class. Danilo Petrucci, Claudio Corti alongside. Then it's Hector Barbera, Brian Starring and Michael Laverty on his Grand Prix debut. Those eyes of all the riders we saw just before will be focused on the lights as they get ready to go for their final warm-up lap. They'll be focused on the lights in a couple of minutes' time when they go out. Racing in 2013 will get underway.
Down towards turn 1, it's Jorge Lorenzo and Valentino Rossi that lead the way from Cal Crutchlow, followed by Danny Pedrosa. Conditions, without a doubt, Dylan, the best we've seen since we arrived here on a Thursday evening.
Oh, absolutely, about 23 degrees track temperature, almost no wind, plus I think quite a clean line now thanks to Moto2 and Moto3. The only thing we don't want to do is go offline because that's still going to be pretty sandy.
And just watch out for those starters on the inside. Pedrosa, front row, Marquez, Smith. It's not easy. It's not for nothing that when we first came here in 2004, Valentino Rossi and Max Biaggi, who were on that side of the grid, both brushed and swept away and cleaned their grid spot. They got penalised and sent to the back of the grid for it, so it won't be easy to get away. There were question marks about people burning tyres of scooters, weren't there, down in the grid spots as well. That's not allowed, that's not the done thing anymore, and so just watch out We know Pedrosa is a lightning starter. If he can get away well, he can fire it up on the inside into turn 1. He needs to get away well because Lorenzo has a stunning pace.
Over 3,500 light bulbs light this Losail International Circuit. It is a magnificent venue to stage the opening round of the World Championship. 22 laps of the circuit that celebrates its 10th anniversary as a Grand Prix venue.
When we first came here, it was this weird little track in the middle of the desert in Qatar. We all thought, why are we coming here? Look at it now. Just look at it. It is a permanent fixture on the calendar. It would seem strange not to start the championship here now. It's a brilliant place to come. Thanks to this man, Nasser Khalifa Al Attiyah. He is the general manager of the circuit, president of the Qatar Federation, and has made racing possible in this fabulous venue, this great stage that really has helped transform Qatar as a sporting venue.
We've waited for this moment since November 2012, the opening round of the 2013 MotoGP World Championship, with Nick Harris and Gavin Emmett down in pit lane, Dylan Gray. 22 laps of the Losail International Circuit, the start of the 18-round World Championship that ends in Valencia, Spain in November. 24 riders on the grid. In pole position, it's the world champion Jorge Lorenzo. Alongside him, British rider Cal Crutchlow and Danny Pedrosa. Let battle commence 2013.
Great start for Andrea Dovizioso on the second row of that grid. He got away brilliantly on the Ducati. Didn't seem to be too much of a problem for Danny Pedrosa getting away from the inside. He's in second still, but Dovizioso up into third, ahead of Crutchlow, who's dropped down from second to fourth. It's Lorenzo that leads them through. Rossi is already past Pradl, but Marquez hasn't been able to get past. In fact, Marquez has dropped a place. Lorenzo from Pedrosa, Dovizioso third on his first ride on Ducati. It's Crutchlow in fourth, Rossi in fifth, Pradl sixth. Marquez now are just trying to hang on to seventh place. He's got through on Bautista in eighth, Hayden ninth. Smith just runs it wide in 10th and could be under pressure there from Andrea Iannone, but Hayden does get through on him.
Well, I suppose the man we've got to talk about at the start is Andrea Dovizioso making his Ducati debut. What a start by him. He's now coming under pressure, though, from the man he replaced at Ducati. That's Valentino Rossi.
What a start from Rossi. This is from 7th on the grid. He's already through on the monster Yamaha Tech 3 of Cal Crutchlow. He's up into 4th place. He's got the Ducati in his sights. Oh, how he would love to do them on the first lap of this race. Around turn 11 for the very first time. They accelerate all the way through the gears up into 5th. Then it's back down to 3rd for this sequence of 3 rights. Here comes Rossi. He's into 3rd. He's going to run it deep, though. And Dovizioso gets back in front. What a start.
This is going to be a season-long battle between the two Italians, one on the Yamaha, one on the Ducati. We ride with Valentino Rossi in 4th place. He did get into 3rd, but Dovizioso fought back immediately. He's got to be careful, though, because he's got Cal Crutchlow right behind him, and he wants to come through as well, followed by Stefan Bradl.
He's right up the pipes, isn't he, of the Ducati. Crutchlow right up his in turn as well. As they come down the straight for the first time, we're almost forgetting that Lorenzo is pulling away at the front. Across the line, Lorenzo leads Pedrosa by 7/10 of a second. Here comes Rossi on the inside of Dovizioso down into turn 1. He almost takes Pedrosa and he forced to run it wide. He will lose 3 or 4 spots there.
Oh, that is a mistake by the 9 times world champion. It's almost like he's on his debut.
Well,
he's so excited,
the
isn't
thing
it?
there was he was only trying to pass Dovizioso, and he realised he was actually closing right in on Pedrosa, who has struggled in turn 1 for much of the weekend. Pedrosa may be braking a little earlier than he thought, and he knew he was going to hit, so forced to pick the bike up. Then when he gets in the dirty part of the track, just can't bring it round, and he's dropped back now, down into 7th spot behind Stefan Bradl. Here comes Crutchlow on Dovizioso, and it looks like this one will stick from the Brit.
Yeah, teammates last year, of course, at Tech 3. Now one on a Ducati, one on the Yamaha. While all this is going on, as Gav says, Lorenzo's waving goodbye at the moment.
Waving goodbye to this race is Karel Abraham, though. He is out on the second lap, and the Czech rider is out.
So he had a disappointing year last year, Carol Abraham, and it looks like that is continuing for him. Oh, what an exciting start, but Lorenzo is opening up a bit of a gap, but Pedrosa and Crutchlow, of course, from the front row of the grid, will try and close that down, but it's over 1 second already, and that is a great start by the world champion.
Crutchlow putting pressure on Pedrosa in turn. Marquez pressuring Andrea Dovizioso. Here comes Crutchlow. He just thought about going through on the inside of Danny Pedrosa there, up as they come through turn 15 into the final corner, 16. What about Marquez through on the inside of Dovizioso? Final corner move there from Marquez. He's up into 4th place. We told you this kid's a bit special, and he's showing it in the early stages. Started 6th, he's now in 4th.
Crutchlow desperate to get past Danny Pedrosa as Lorenzo opens up the gap at the front. He's got no chance, of course, coming down into turn 1 because that Honda just has the extra pace.
It has been struggling for grip coming out of the corners as well. It's one thing they have been finding this weekend. There's a question mark whether they would be able to go with the hard tyres. They've chosen to go with the soft. Lap times. Lorenzo 55.5, Pedrosa 56, Crutchlow 55.8. He and Lorenzo the only two under that 56 barrier.
There is Valentino Rossi, just got a glimpse of the 9-times world champion. Tried all he could to get past Andrejevic, so he did get past him, but then ran it wide at turn 1. Here comes Crutchlow. He's desperate to get past Danny Pedrosa, but it is not going to be easy for the British rider. Just lacks that perhaps a little bit of pace with the satellite Yamaha against the Repsol Honda, but as Gav said, Repsol Honda, certainly with Danny Pedrosa, have had their problems. Meanwhile, smooth, calm at the front, it's Lorenzo.
And he is just slicing his way through the desert air from the front. Crutchlow, every single corner is closing in. We always know how stable and solid that Yamaha is in a corner, and we've seen this weekend how much Pedrosa has struggled. Bradley's now through on Dovizioso. We knew it was going to be tough for Dovizioso, who's had a brilliant weekend. Let's not make any bones about it. Did a good start to his weekend for Ducati. No one was expecting so much from him. Just loving this from Crutchlow. He really is harassing Danny Pedrosa, and he's going to try again, is he? No, not this time. Oh, another wobble from Pedrosa into turn 15, and look at the drive Crutchlow will get down towards the final corner. He's alongside Pedrosa, no way through because Pedrosa has just ridden on his inside, blocking every single line he would like to take, and he's not going to be able to do him down the home straight.
I tell you, could be joining in the fun soon. It's going to be Marquez, and then the sparks are going to fly.
This is going to get
there
good
he is,
now.
93. Of course, he's got the pace. Look at Marquez round the outside of Cal Crutchlow. Sweeps into turn 1 and makes it stick up into 3rd place for the Moto2 world champion.
Fastest lap of the race so far as well from Marquez at 55.4. That's better, 2/10 better than Lorenzo at the front. Can he keep that pace up for the race distance? Has he been able to do enough race simulations to know how his tyres will be in the latter stages? His first race in MotoGP, first race on the Bridgestones, but he is such a canny rider. Can Crutchlow fight back? He's trying everything he can in the tighter sections around this circuit.
So tight it was in that new qualifying format yesterday evening, just 15 minutes. Pedrosa and Marquez actually touched each other in qualifying, and that could well happen again. Crutchlow sandwiched between the two Repsol Hondas, the two factory bikes. Well, sorry, not sandwiched between them, chasing hard after Marquez. The gap at the front now, Lorenzo is just easing his way away.
Rossi passed Dovizioso and sticks past this time. He's up into 6th place now, and he's back on the trail after that. It's a kind of mistake, wasn't it, going in there, but it was more an aversion tactics from him to get out of the way so he didn't collect anyone, and it's cost him so much in this race.
This is the battle for 2nd place. Danny Pedrosa leads away. That's the gap between Jorge Lorenzo in the lead and this fighting trio. Then Bradley leaves that as 3rd group with Rossi, Dovizioso, Bautista. Hayden in 9th place. Andrea Iannone 10. Bradley Smith 11. Ben Spies 12. Later Spargo leading the CRTs. Randy Depunier, Yoni Hernandez, Hector Barbara, Lucas Peshek, Colin Edwards, Danielo Petrucci, Hiroshi Oyama.
Here comes Marc Marquez down the straight, right behind his teammate Danny Pedrosa. But it's not to be this time. You see how much Crutchlow is losing out heading down that straight. Crutchlow down into the 56s once more, 56.1. The leaders though, Lorenzo 55.6, Pedrosa 56, and Marquez a 55.8.
Oh, Danny Pedrosa will really not want to be beaten by Marc Marquez in this particular battle, and Marquez was going to give him a tough time. Absolutely brilliant ride so far though by the world champion. We haven't seen a lot of him because he's almost in a class of his own at the moment. Fantastic.
Great to get on board there with Marquez and what he's seeing in front. You're seeing the tighter sections that Crutchlow is around there. Dovizioso's trying to come back at Rossi, trying to conjure something back. The former Ducati rider just has a little bit of a wobble there, but nothing he will worry about too much at the front. Lorenzo has opened up to a couple of seconds. Pedrosa hasn't conjured anything just yet, but has he got something in reserve? Is there anything he can do to match the pace from Lorenzo? We were suggesting low 156s was the way. Well, it's mid 155s, taking it to a whole new level. Will the softer tyre, will that do something in the latter stages? Bradley Smith, we are being told on our timing screens, has crashed out.
Rider okay, it says as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that is good news, but disappointment for Bradley Smith, crashing out on his MotoGP debut. Super smooth Jorge Lorenzo. Into the start and finish straight.
Now
Marquez,
Marquez,
is he going to make a move? Is he close enough?
as he comes across down into turn one. Crutchlow, how many meters would you say? 10, 15
Yeah.
that he's lost down the straight there? Nothing he can do about it. That crash for Smith moves Ben Spies up into 11th place, and a trudge away for the Briton in his first MotoGP race. Look, it's been a great weekend for him so far, but he'll be devastated about that.
Yeah, not the debut you want to make, as you say. He has looked impressive the whole weekend. There's a great battle going on for 5th place at the moment between Bradl, Rossi, Dovizioso and Battista.
We've also had a retirement for Brian Starring as well. He's been forced to retire.
So 2 MotoGP debutants not having the best of luck in the early stages.
Well, he's back in his garage now and looks unhurt, which is good.
Yeah, that is good news. They could all take a lesson from this man at the front, couldn't they?
Now, Crutchlow isn't letting Marquez get away. It's just down the straight. He can't attack back. And well, can he find anything? He's had some great pace all weekend. But what he's got to hope is that Marquez makes a rookie mistake of some kind to be able to he's still challenging for the podium, of course. The gap between Crutchlow and Bradl now at 1.8, and Rossi will be ruining the time he tried to pass so early in the race, and it just caused a couple of issues. And is this a mistake perhaps for Marquez? Yeah, a little bit wider than Crutchlow. See Crutchlow a lot tighter in that right-hander.
Crutchlow's doing exactly the right thing, isn't he? He's trying to push Marquez along all the time. Try to make the MotoGP debutant make a mistake. Can he make him do that? Pedrosa, Marquez and Crutchlow, they're 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Lorenzo has cleared off at the front. Nobody's going to catch Lorenzo, but there's going to be a great battle for 2nd place.
It's just sort of checking each other out at the moment. Another little twitch from Rossi as he tucks it in, but no worries, it's stable enough going through turn one. And he's right in behind Bradl, but can't find any way through the LCR Honda rider. Again, trying something different, using all his racecraft, his knowledge. He's almost sticking to the back wheel of the German rider, but the acceleration of the Honda just enough to take it away from him.
Great to see Rossi back, isn't it, though? Really competitive, though. You've got to say, great to see the Ducati competitive with Andrea Dovizioso coming under pressure from Alvaro Battista, but at the moment holding firm there in 7th place. Nicky Hayden also trying to catch this group in 9th, with Andrea Iannone on his debut in 10th place.
Look at the lap times, identical. There's nothing to choose between them. Is Bradl holding them up? Are they all striving to stay with them? It's just going to be a very hard bike to get past, especially for the Yamaha.
Well, if anybody can do it, it will be Valentino Rossi. Closes right up on the rear wheel of Bradl's LCR Honda, but no way through for the 9 times world champion, 3 times winner here in Qatar, all on a Yamaha. Team look tense, haven't been this end of the grid for some time, have they? This is the battle of the race so far. It's the battle for 5th place. It's still Bradl that leads away. Crutchlow right on the rear wheel now, though, of Marquez. He can stick there. It's getting past him. That's the big problem for the rider on the satellite Yamaha.
On board with Jorge Lorenzo in a class of his own at the moment, still churning out the 155, 155.9 this time. All the rest behind him, Pedrosa, Marquez, Crutchlow, 156.1. The gap is just creeping up all the time. It's 2.7 seconds between Lorenzo and Pedrosa, and then 3/10 between him and his compatriot Marquez. Another little moment through there. It's not actually a moment, it's just a few bumps and he's just riding it through there. Nothing dramatic. He probably won't really notice it too much.
This is Bradl still fighting off the challenger, Valentino Rossi. We ride with Rossi. Is he going to nip up the inside? He has. Can he make it stick? Valentino Rossi moves up into 5th place.
At turn 4 for Rossi, the double apex right-handers, but he knows it's not going to be easy to stay in front, especially down that straight into turn 6, tightest corner on this circuit. They power out of it now. You can just see the back of Crutchlow as they go into that short little straight.
Must be so dispiriting for Crutchlow, because we're looking at him now and he'll be pulling right up on the rear wheel of Marquez. They got into that long straight and bang, there's Rossi.
Already Rossi is pulling away. He clearly had a higher pace. He showed us in the early laps, and already he's pulling away. Is there any chance he can close in on Crutchlow and the 2 Spaniards, Pedrosa and Marquez, ahead of him? Lorenzo is surely just a bridge too far for anyone. And when he's in that zone, there's no stopping him. As he calls it, the hammer, just repetitive. Bang, bang, knocking out the laps.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. This is Crutchlow coming up towards turn 15, the left-hander, nice and close to Marquez. Little short straight, then they're coming to 16 onto this 1,000-metre long start and finish straight. And Marquez will just disappear into the distance, and there's very little Crutchlow can do about it. Lorenzo's already there, as you can see. When he crosses the line, there'll be 14 laps to go for the world champion. Started from pole and has led from the start.
Across the line they come. Crutchlow again loses out down the straight. It's got to be so disheartening for him. Just watching every time he gets close throughout the lap, and then suddenly down the straight, just no chance of sticking with them. Andrea Iannone in 10th spot, a lonely ride for the Italian new boy into MotoGP. Ben Spies is struggling just to battle with the 2 Aspar bikes. They're almost ganging up on him.
Yeah, just what he doesn't want as he tries to recover his full fitness, his first ride on the Pramac Ducati.
It doesn't help that it's a really heavy right-hand circuit as well, and that's the shoulder he's had the operation on, ligament replaced in his shoulder. They say it was like what a cruciate ligament injury would be for a footballer or a rugby player, something like that. It's a long injury to come back from.
Randy De Punez in that battle. Won't be worried about Ben Spies. He'll just want to get past Alicia Sparger, his teammate, to be the top CRT bike. Well, what a start to his defence of the world title by Jorge Lorenzo.
We might have lost Stefan Bradl. We might have lost Bradl from proceedings here, trying to chase down Rossi. And he's just disappeared from our timing screens, trying to look at the top of the picture to see if he's gone. You can't see, but he's not on our timing screens anymore.
This is still the battle for 2nd place.
It looks like he's gone at about turn.
There he is.
Yeah.
Perfectly okay, walks away Stefan Bradl, so some early fallers. We've seen Bradley Smith, we've seen Brian Starring, we've now seen Stefan Bradl and Karel Abraham. So it's impressive. Oh, that's from Valentino Rossi.
Turn
Watch
7.
it back, yeah.
Poor Lucio Ciccinello hadn't gone well this weekend. Great qualifying for Stefan, but it's not come good in the race.
So Rossi in 5th place, nice comfortable 5th place now for the 9 times world champion. I don't think he's going to catch the men in front of him. So we wait and see.
Again, just looking down there, Crutchlow closed right in, and now Marquez right on the rear of Danny Pedrosa. Crutchlow closed in during that lap, down the straight, loses 2 or 3 tenths of a second. Now, Marquez and Pedrosa You'd think maybe two Spaniards, same team, not really been rivals before, they'd be good friends. I'll tell you what, this is the start of a rivalry that's going to go on for the entire season. Maybe they need a wall in between them.
Yeah, I tell you, everybody's been talking about the battle between Lorenzo and Rossi and how it's going to be in the Yamaha camp. I think this is going to be fiercer, and there's going to be more printed words on this than any other battle.
Slight moment for Marquez once more. The only question mark is experience at the end of a race here. They'll have done simulations in pre-season, but nothing can replicate the cut and thrust of a MotoGP scrap.
12.5 laps ago, Jorge Lorenzo has absolutely cleared off at the front. We've seen Stefan Bradl go down. It's really this battle now for second place between Dani Pedrosa and Marc Marquez. Cal Crutchlow sneaks in round the circuit, but he just loses out so badly when they come through turn 16 into this long start and finish straight. But Marquez now really on the rear wheel, as you can see at Dani Pedrosa. We now switch to Marquez, and that's Pedrosa firmly in his sights. He's going to have a go. He won't be patient, will he? He's not the most patient of young men. Brilliant camera work, because it's just showing, and you just got the glimpse there of Crutchlow so close.
I love listening to the way that the engine, the transmission, seamless there on the Honda, the way it just changes up. And we listened to the Yamaha earlier on. They still haven't got that seamless transmission, but do they need it when Lorenzo is 4 seconds clear at the front? This is, well, for want of a better word, Lorenzo's land, isn't it? He has won here last year, won here previously in MotoGP and in the other classes as well. Won the first ever race here, in fact, the 125 is the event in 2004, and loves it. Been on the podium every year that we've been here. Yeah, it is his venue, or one of his venues. He's got a couple of them, hasn't he? Where it's going to be tough to beat him. Again, look how close Crutchlow is in these tighter sections. Right up there. We'll start thinking about their lap times now. Pedrosa and Marquez on that last lap, you know, 156.56 for Pedrosa, 56.58 for Marquez, 56.4 for Crutchlow. So a little bit quicker on that previous lap. And you have to wonder, is there a chance for the British rider here? If he does get past, though, can he stay past?
That is obviously going to be the major problem, as
it's
we
not
saw
like
in the
Rossi
other.
trying to stay in front of Bradl when it was, because it's a different, you know, this is the factory Honda.
In this battle for second place, there's only one previous Qatar winner here, and that is Marc Marquez, who won the Moto2 race here last year. Dani Pedrosa's never won here, and obviously Crutchlow, certainly in the MotoGP class, it's only his third race. He's riding manfully, Cal Crutchlow, and if they give him a smidgen of a chance, he'll go through,
if
won't
there's
he?
a sniff, he will be in there,
yeah,
like a shot. He'll rat up a drain pipe, but I probably wouldn't like that, would he? Like a honey badger up a drain pipe, perhaps. Down the home straight then, and this is where they pull away, and Marc Marquez may have a go here round the outside of Dani Pedrosa. Pedrosa pulls across. Can Marquez go through? Not this time.
11 to go. He's been remarkably, I won't say he's been patient, Marc Marquez. He wants to go through.
Now the rider just setting his personal best lap. He just crept into the picture at the top there. Valentino Rossi 4/10 quicker than all three, of Marquez, Pedrosa and Crutchlow. And there he is, top of the picture, 3.3 seconds. It did stand at 3.7 when he got through on Bradl.
That would add
clear
to the
track
fun,
ahead of him.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to worry about anyone pressuring him now that Bradl's gone.
And these three could get involved in a bit of a scrap
Yeah.
if Marquez did get in front of Pedrosa, which might just, well, which would probably slow the lap times.
Bit between his teeth, gets on a roll.
Pedrosa's holding firm at the moment. Marquez just hasn't had the chance to get with him.
I'm thinking the straight might be the one. Turn one, we've seen it often here at this circuit. Every chance that he could be doing that, lining something else up. But I suppose he's also got one eye on Crutchlow behind him.
Dead right, yeah,
about that.
because if he concentrates so hard on the man in front, he could get done by Crutchlow, who's just waiting for the opportunity. They haven't given him any opportunity yet.
Gap between Crutchlow and Rossi, 2.8 seconds now. Half a second in the first split. Talk about the bit between his teeth. Rossi's got it firmly in his sights now, this battle for the podium. Cal Crutchlow is, as Nick says, performing manfully here. And there's every chance he's still got a shout of the podium. Down the home straight, Lorenzo comes. What will the Hondas do down the home straight this time? We're past the halfway point, 12 down, to the 12th lap, 10 laps to go.
Here are the two Repsol Hondas. Is Marquez going to be close enough to have a go at Pedrosa? No, he's not.
A new fastest lap for Rossi, not at the race, but personal best. A 155.9, all the rest are in 56s. Behind him, they're in 57s. Bautista has got through on Dovizioso, and Nicky Hayden's come back into this one now, really charging through and right in behind his teammate Andrea Dovizioso. Behind him, Iannone in 9th. Then it's Espargaro beating Ben Spies for 10th. And Spies just sitting tight. He probably can, and then attack on the last couple of laps down the straight.
This is Hiroshiyama crossing the line in 16th place.
That's Hector Barbara.
I'm sorry, Hector.
Right, Hector Barbara was coming through then in 13th spot. So he's done well from 22nd on the grid.
Yeah, because he's a former winner here, but he had terrible qualifying, didn't he, with electrical problems.
Of course, he's not on a Ducati anymore. He's on a CRT bike on the FTR Kawasaki, is Hector Barbara. And just behind him, Hernandez 14th. Colin Edwards into the points in 15th, ahead of Aoyama, who is in 16th place. Then it's Petrucci 17th, Peshek 18th, Michael Laverty in 19th, ahead of Claudio Corti 20th. But a good battle between those two.
Well, he's had a lonely old evening so far, Jorge Lorenzo. Just the type of lonely evening he would have wanted. With 9.5 laps ago, he's led from the start.
He won't be complaining, will he?
He won't. This is tight here. Marquez just not quite close enough to have a nibble at the Danny Pedrosa, and lurking, just praying for them to make a mistake.
Waiting to pick up any pieces.
He is, and there well could be pieces yet.
Any over-exuberance from Marc Marquez, as we said, that rookie mistake, and he will be there. Yes, Rossi 3.5 seconds behind and closing. It's actually 2.9 between Crutchlow and Rossi. Again, down the straight, nothing Crutchlow could do to tag along for the ride. Marquez looks either way of Danny Pedrosa, but it's not quite the same as Moto 2 or Moto 3, where you might be able to get a really good slipstream. Yes, the slipstream is in effect, but not by any stretch of the imagination to the same extent on the much lighter bikes.
Here is the start. It's a great start by Andrea Dovizioso.
Not by Marquez, just having a look at it.
No, definitely not.
And Smith got away well. He's alongside Marquez there, down to turn 1. Breaks a little bit early in there. But look at Rossi around the outside of Bradle. There was Dovizioso. He pulled right across, didn't he? I think being on the good side of the grid really helped him there.
As Lorenzo led into turn 1, and he has led the race ever since we arrived in Marquez. No, from the second row of the grid, that is a very disappointing start.
The first split, Marc Marquez was inside a 10th on Danny Pedrosa there. I wonder if he's had a go at him as we just watch replays of the start of the race. It's clearly got very close. It was .093 between Pedrosa and Marquez. This is on board behind Stefan Bradl. So back to the battle for second place. Danilo Petrucci, we're hearing, has retired from the race, and the battle still rages over who will take second and third behind Lorenzo at the front.
Marquez prepares to make his move. They're very, very evenly matched, and Danny Pedrosa, who we saw last year, is a very difficult man to overtake. Hanging on by his fingernails is Cal Crutchlow. Any mistake from the two Repsol Honda men, he will be there, and Valentino Rossi is coming. Can he catch them?
2.2 seconds now, the gap between Crutchlow and Rossi, who's charging now. Oh, if he hadn't made that blunder, not a massive blunder, I can't really say that at all. He was forced to pick the bike up, but if he hadn't have been in that place at that time, where would he be now? In this mix, able to challenge Lorenzo? We just don't know. Ifs, buts, whys and wherefores just do not count.
It's a terrific race for second place. Crutchlow still in the mix, but he just doesn't seem to have the pace to get past the two Repsol Hondas, but there's every chance they will make a mistake as they fight it out for second place. What a debut by Marc Marquez in third place, and Rossi, you can see now, all the television pictures, when you look back, he is closing all the time. He's got 7.5 laps to catch this leading.
Thing is, you can get there.
It's getting past,
Then can you get through?
but he's one of the men that
it's Rossi.
can. Yeah, that's right.
He's down into the 155s again, 55.9. How much tyre has he had to use to get up here? In those right-handers in the latter stages of the race, just watch if they start struggling. It's a very right-hand heavy circuit, and although they are asymmetric tyres, they've gone with the softer option here. And I just wonder in the latter stages, will that start to tell? Will that affect the Hondas who've struggled for grip all weekend?
Just over 7 laps to go. An intriguing battle for second place here at the opening round of the World Championship. Lorenzo is gone. He is absolutely riding in a class of his own at the front. But who's going to finish on the podium? Who's going to finish in second place? Can Rossi make a miraculous return to Yamaha? Can Crutchlow get there? What about Marquez? We've almost forgotten about Danny Pedrosa, but he's ridden very well in second place, hasn't he?
Just have to think about all the classic Rossi races throughout the years where he's fought through and fought back and claimed usually victories, but in the past podiums, all kinds of things, and he's working it now. He's in the groove. He's probably thinking through some of those memories now as well, how he's done this in the past and the different things that he's done to get to the top of this sport. He's taken a few hits over the last couple of years. Now it's his chance to maybe fight back.
I think he's got Sete Gibernau actually in his visor now, thinking it's him that he's got to take. Oh, Lorenzo,
2004 kind of thing, yeah.
That's right. Just don't think he needs firing up. We haven't forgotten about Jorge Lorenzo, but because he's in a class of his own this evening, he hasn't been involved in much of the action, but he is riding absolutely superbly. He is riding like a true world champion.
All credit to him again for just doing the business in off-season testing once more. You know, he'll go out there and do these race simulations, not worry about his lap time. And Cal Crutchlow was fastest at the end of the test, Marquez in Austin as well. But Lorenzo's there and just working on it. And Rossi is also now there and he is lurking.
The 9 times world champion is ready to pounce. He is going to catch them, I think. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Getting past them will not be that easy. But you ask Jorge Lorenzo, you ask Sete Gibernau, you ask a host of other riders. He can get past just at the most unexpected places. Great ride by Cal Crutchlow. He can hang in there, he's right in there.
He's still there, that's what I mean. He's there every single lap, but he can't find a way through. And even if he could he stay in front? Can Marquez find a way through? He doesn't want to do anything rash. It's his rookie ride, his debut in MotoGP.
We've waited for this moment, haven't we? In every way, with Marquez's debut, Rossi back, Pedrosa, Crutchlow's great ride. Okay, Lorenzo's cleared up. It's not the battle for the win, but this is fabulous stuff.
Who will take second place? And you see how matched they are coming down the home straight. Here comes Marquez. He attacks for the first time. Marquez is through at turn 1 with 6 laps to go in the Qatar Grand Prix. He's up into second place on his MotoGP debut. This blue touch paper has just been lit in this race.
Head down, hand on the throttle, knee on the ground, elbow on the ground. He's up into second place. What can Pedrosa, Crutchlow and Rossi do about the new sensation in MotoGP? Pedrosa bides his moment. He will hate it more than anything if he gets beaten by Marquez in this race.
Rossi's just put in another personal best, a 55.7. This is like dangling a carrot out in front of him to see this, and he's just there, closing in on all the time on this trio, battling for the podium spots. It's not going to be a 3-way thing, it's now a 4-way thing.
Rossi has joined the party. He's got Cal Crutchlow firmly in his sights. 5.5 laps to go. The battle for second place at the opening round of the World Championship. Lorenzo's surely going to win the race.
I'm so defensive from Pedrosa in every single corner, having to just tighten his lines to make sure Crutchlow doesn't come through. Marquez had a little slip and a slide. Can Rossi conjure something? The leg goes out from Crutchlow as if to say to Rossi, you're not coming through, and Marquez is pulling away from Pedrosa. This is incredible stuff now. Can Crutchlow attack Pedrosa? We thought Pedrosa might have saved his best for the race, but now he's struggling to hang on to the podium here. Here is Cal Crutchlow, no way through this time. maybe in the final corner, but surely Rossi will be able to attack down at turn 1.
We know Rossi will not be patient.
Here we are on board with Valentino Rossi going down the home straight. There he is, and he's going to get through on the inside of Cal Crutchlow. Look at the dust being kicked off. This isn't Speedway, this isn't dirt track, it's MotoGP, and Rossi is going to get through on the inside, and Crutchlow is forced to run it off and into the gravel. He's going to come back onto the track at the end of his podium challenge. He couldn't turn in. Rossi was where he wanted to be. Oh, it's all gone wrong for Crutchlow, but he's put in a sterling effort and a great ride. Now it's back down to 3 for 2 spots on the podium.
Here's the replay of the moment. He just gets in too hot. He has the runner on a fair old speed into turn 1. Rossi goes safely through. Now Rossi has Danny Pedrosa in his sights. Valentino Rossi now running in 4th place behind the 2 factory Yamahas. Pedrosa in front of him. Marquez trying to open up a little bit of a gap in front of the 2 very experienced MotoGP winners behind him.
Just listening to that Yamaha in behind the Honda. Now, Crutchlow tried, he looked, he tried to find a little gap. But if there's one person who can find a gap in MotoGP where there might not be one, it's Valentino Rossi. Has he had a moment here? Has he had a moment? No. For a moment, I couldn't see Pedrosa in front of him. It looked like he was all alone on track, but no. He's there. Can he conjure something up? Is there an alleyway, a way through for him to claim a podium in his first race back with Yamaha?
We ride with Jorge Lorenzo, the comfortable race leader, into the start and finish straight. When he crosses the line, there will be 4 laps to go. It's the battle behind him that is the focus now of everybody throughout the world. Can the king, can the doctor return to the podium?
Can Pedrosa fight back down the straight? He was closing in on Marquez that time. Still 4 laps to go in this race. Anything can happen. The tyres are starting to get a little bit sketchy now, especially in the right-handers. Can Marquez manage them? Here's Rossi, and he will have the strength that Crutchlow have. You'd have thought in the twistier sections of track, you'd have thought there'd be every chance for him to come up with something. Not this time.
We ride with Danny Pedrosa. We now switch to Valentino Rossi right behind his great rival. Now back with Pedrosa. That's Rossi behind him. Rossi closes right up on Danny Pedrosa. He's lining him up. Marquez in front of him. This is the race for 2nd place. Rossi thinks about it. Pedrosa slams the door shut in his face.
Just thinking, is Danny Pedrosa also thinking, right, the best way to get rid of Rossi is to get past Marquez? Is he going to try and make sure he's right in the pipes of Marquez at the end of the next lap? No, he's not going to get a chance because Rossi is through. The crowd are already on their feet here in the grandstands. Smiles amongst the crew for the first time in a couple of years as he comes through and up into 3rd place now. And it's the rookie, Marc Marquez, in his sights. He is the veteran. Marquez, the new boy. Is there a lesson going to be served out here from Rossi? Is it going to be a Yamaha 1-2? He's already there. He's putting in some brilliant laps. Up they go into turn 15 now. 1 more to go, and when they cross the line, there'll be 3 laps remaining in the opening Grand Prix of 2013, the Qatar Grand Prix, which is living up to all our expectations.
They come into turn 16, into the long start and finish straight. Rossi on the tail now of Marc Marquez. They race down the straight, over the start and finish line. Here comes Valentino Rossi up the inside of Marquez, but Marquez holds firm.
Not this time, he's not able to do it at Valentino Rossi. Did anyone say that Rossi was finished? He's showing against, well, Pedrosa's no longer a young gun, but he's a lot younger than Rossi. Rossi 34, Danny Pedrosa 27. Marc Marquez, the young upstart, 20 years of age. And the master, the doctor, is coming through, and he goes up into 2nd place. Can he make it stick? He has done. As Marquez tries to fight back, but no, Rossi hangs on. He's in 2nd place with 2.5 laps remaining. What a ride this will be if Rossi could hang on.
Classic riding by the Doctor. He is back big style. Don't forget Jorge Lorenzo leads the way, but this is Rossi at his best. The young upstart being shown a little lesson by the 9 times world champion. Rossi up into second place.
He said himself before that the electronics are such now the rider couldn't make the difference. Well, he's just conjured up a couple of moves that you know can only come out of the Rossi handbook.
Jorge Lorenzo unaware of everything that's happening behind him because he just simply cleared off from turn 1, keeping that concentration at the highest level, something he's so good at. Marquez, I don't think he'll come back and have a go at Rossi. I'm sure he'd like to. I think he's now got to think about taking a podium on his MotoGP debut from Danny Pedrosa. But he's Marc Marquez. He's got absolutely no respect for reputations.
Well, we knew Honda were struggling this weekend. It wasn't ideal for them. We thought they might have been able to turn it round, and Pedrosa found something. He was coy about his chances. Lorenzo's already crossed the line. Here comes Rossi, and Marquez right in beside him. Marquez going for the outside line now, down into turn 1. Rossi surely will fight back on the brakes. Marquez is brave and hangs it in on the outside, and Marquez is back! Oh, he's been taught a lesson, but served it straight back. The ball's in your court again, Valentino.
There you go, old man. That's what I'm all about. And Marc Marquez back up into second place. Rossi fights back. It's the older generation against the new generation. Rossi again alongside up into turn 4. Rossi back into second.
Can Marquez come back in the second part of this double apex right-hander? No, not this time. This is absolutely brilliant stuff from the rookie Marc Marquez. And the elder statesman, that's really not fair, is it? The 9 times world champion, 7 of those in MotoGP. Valentino Rossi looking in fine fettle at the start of this 2013 championship. This is just the start. There are 17 more to come. Let's hope they're all as good as this.
Well, we thought it was going to be a vintage year. We thought these two are going to play a big part of it. They certainly have. What a last lap that was by the pair of them. Marquez riding in his very first MotoGP race against the old hand.
Across the line, there were 3,000 separating them. So if they're like this on the run to the line on the final lap, there's a chance we're going to have a photo finish for second place. Emilio Alfamora, former 125cc world champion, is the mentor for Marc Marquez in that Repsol Honda team. He has been throughout his career, helped bring him through to the fore, teach him not everything he knows because there's just so much raw talent in there, but he's helped him through all those tough times with injuries.
Here we go. Right.
Lorenzo across the line already. What are we going to see down in turn 1? The last lap of the race. Marquez is coming once more. Goes for the inside line this time. Rossi wise to it.
Just about wise, yeah. Marquez right, so close to Valentino Rossi. Marquez trying to line him up. Rossi holds firm through turn 3. Up now to the double apex right, 4 and 5. This is where Rossi took the advantage last time round. Can Marquez do the same? Not this time. 3/4 of a lap left. All poor Danny Pedrosa can do is sit and watch in 4th place.
Marquez has to think about basically taking him in the run to the line, I think, here. But Rossi is doing one of those last lap things where he closes every door but still manages to pull out an absolutely stunning lap. He's pulling away from Marquez. This is classic Rossi as he pulls away from the young Spaniard. What a little upstart he'll be thinking inside his helmet. Maybe something a little bit more vicious than that, but he's trying to make sure that Marquez doesn't even have a chance of drafting him to the finish line.
Jorge Lorenzo at the front, as he has been from the very start of the race. The absolutely perfect defence, the opening defence of his world title. But boy, it could be a Yamaha 1-2, but you just know Marc Marquez, he will not give up, and it still may come that run to the line that could be the difference. But Valentino Rossi is putting on a stonking last lap just to try and open up that gap so Marquez will not get that chance.
Marquez has to keep pushing. He's not a two-time world champion for nothing, you know. He will not give up to the line. Jorge Lorenzo's rounding the final corner. Marquez is right in there, you know, as they get the run to the line. He'll try and twist that throttle to get close to Rossi. It's going to be Lorenzo who wins the opener in 2013.
Who is going to finish in second place? Is it the return of the Doctor in second place? It is. Rossi second, Marquez in third place. What a start to this season.
Danny Pedrosa comes home in fourth. Cal Crutchlow, so unlucky after a great ride, into fifth place. Sixth is Bautista, seventh Dovizioso and Hayden. They're crossing 24 behind Lorenzo, and 2 seconds behind Bautista. Here is Andrea Iannone going to come home in ninth place, but the story of this race is that scrap between Rossi and Marquez. Well, Rossi back to his brilliant best.
Ben Spies in 10th place. You're so right. Lorenzo rode the absolute perfect race. He won't make the headlines, will he? It's going to be Rossi and Marquez. Congratulations to Jorge Lorenzo. Absolutely superb win. Alessio Spargo leads the way in the CRT category from his teammate Randy de Prunier. Oh, I'm breathless after that.
Brilliant stuff from Lorenzo.
Yeah.
That was metronomic from him at the front. Just unstoppable. And in the end could relax on that final lap and do a 1:57.1. Rossi a 55.8 on that last lap. Marquez a 56.0. Crutchlow was forced to just bring it home in fifth place. Pedrosa, he's the big loser tonight. Rossi, brilliant. Marquez, brilliant. You can't argue with that. Pedrosa is the one who'll be scratching his head and hoping things can come good in Austin in 2 weeks' time, where in the test, Marquez was quickest and Pedrosa was second quickest.
Any doubts he had, any doubts anybody had, like Valentino Rossi being competitive this season, forget those doubts. The Doctor is back.
Pulled the bike up in the gravel. Is this going to be a homage to the M1?
I think it probably is.
Every chance I think we might see that. This was where Marquez wanted to come straight back at him. And Rossi came through, turn 4. Double apex right, Marquez trying to get back through. Rossi holds it in there strong. Marquez around the outside of Rossi, hangs in the corner, and because Rossi's forced to run it deep, pulls it back in turn 1. But the master came up with another magic trick from his, well, he's got all the tricks in the book, hasn't he? Oh, he's out of fuel, is he?
I think he is. He's getting a lift back with Andrea Iannone.
Wow.
So that was mighty tight, yeah.
That must have been tight to get every last ounce out of that.
Oh, I think those last few laps probably did that, didn't they?
Wow,
yeah.
Wow.
And what a debut by Marc Marquez.
Oh,
I know the headlines are going to be
phenomenal.
Valentino, phenomenal debut, and this is just going to continue all the way through. And what a ride by Jorge Lorenzo. He didn't run out of fuel. He just rode the smoothest race you'd ever want to see. Led from start to finish, and 25 World Championship points as he defends his world title. He gets good applause, but the man coming on the back of Andrea Iannone's bike is going to get a standing ovation from the grandstand when he arrives.
Pedrosa, he's won 6 of the last 8 races. It's not clicked, has it, this weekend?
No.
It's really just not clicked. Back to the drawing board for Pedrosa. Jorge Lorenzo will be in dreamland. There he is.
There you go, yeah. Austin's going to be a fabulous race because, as you say, in the test it was Honda that led the way.
A lot of people don't really know it, know the circuit that well, and yeah, it's going to be.
That's nice. The Rossi team shaking the hands of Marquez there. You'll hear when he makes his return, I think. Rossi.
It'll be like a Mexican wave, the sound coming down this home straight.
It's Wilco Zeelenberg, the crew chief of Jorge Lorenzo, and what a ride by him. Here he is. Andrea Iannone's had a good ride as well on his debut in 9th place, but now Rossi returns to Parc Ferme and the podium. Because he did have a couple of podiums last year, didn't he? But he was right on the pace.
Yeah, but this one means 10 times more in the dry, battling it, scrapping with the top riders in the class. Oh, poor old Cal Crutchlow. Look, he just looks at Daniele Romagnoli and says, what more could I do? What more could I do?
Yeah, great ride by Crutchlow. He gave it absolutely everything. This is what the team think of the return of Valentino Rossi.
There's JB, never goes down to Parc Ferme. Done the business. Mike from Olins as well. Here he comes. Listen to the crowd that he's getting as he makes his way into Parc Ferme. Brilliant. Well, that wasn't boring, was it?
Wow. We thought it was going to be a great start of the season. It was. Lorenzo was in a class of his own, but behind him, what a debut by Marc Marquez. But all the headlines would be about the return of the Doctor. He's back. We've got 17 more races yet. It could not be better.
I mean, everyone maybe written off Rossi. We knew he would be there or thereabouts, but that is got to be maybe more than we expected. Second place. Were you expecting a second for Rossi?
No, I think after practice and qualifying, I wasn't. No, I thought if he got on the podium, he'd done a great job. But
I only had it for third. I'd say I was always thinking Lorenzo and Pedrosa up front, but then thinking Rossi and Marquez for third. In the end, it was Rossi and Marquez battling for second. Yeah. Pedrosa just did not work for him today. I wonder if that softer tyre option at the end of the race, they'd struggled for grip this weekend. He obviously felt obliged to go with it. He'll probably be thinking, what if I'd gone for the harder option?
Bautista 6th place, I think, with his hand injury and everything. That's a decent result for Alvaro Bautista.
There'll be some disappointed people out there. Stefan Bradl, Karash, Bradley Smith as well, Brian Starring and Carol Abraham.
Yeah, very disappointed
I also
indeed.
didn't notice at the time, but a retirement for Colin Edwards. Danilo Petrucci we saw, but Colin Edwards, that must have been quite late in the race.
Yeah, Petrucci crashed, didn't he?
Edwards was back in his box pretty quickly, looked okay.
No, well, that's the main thing.
It was a crash then, yeah, because we didn't see it. Obviously, they can't move away from that battle at the front.
Yeah, no, there was no bike coming back in.
Right.
Well, here we go. Lorenzo the winner, Rossi second, Yamaha 1-2. What a debut by Marquez. Pedrosa, poor old Cal Crutchlow gave it all. Bautista, Dovizioso, good solid start by him and Hayden, 7th and 8th on the Ducati. A decent debut in MotoGP by Andrea Iannone. Well, Ben Spies did beat the CRT duo of Aleix Espargaro and Randy De Prunay, so I think he's achieved what he could do. Hector Barbara, despite bad qualifying, 13th. Yoni Hernandez, Hiroshi Oyama, Claudio Corti, Michael Lafferty on his debut, and Lucas Peszek, I think the last of the finishers in an absolutely brilliant opening round of the World Championship.
There were the crashes, as we saw. It was Edwards with 7 laps to go. We were too enthralled with what was going on at the front. Apologise to all the Tornado fans. Petrucci, Bradl, Smith, Starring and Abraham. They were all crashes in the race, but back to business in a couple of weeks' time in Austin for them. Oof,
well, we wanted a great opening round in all classes. We've certainly got that.
No, he's done superbly today, you have to say. Boy, Lorenzo has been absolutely brilliant. Look at that between Rossi. Look at that between Marquez and Rossi. Rossi has watched Marquez from him being a 15-year-old coming into 1-2-5s in the first place, and that's great to see.
It must remind him of himself, mustn't it? Into the year 2000 when he came into the
and he's handed out a little bit of a lesson as well in the process. Yeah. But hey, that's just his first lesson, Marquez. I'm sure soon he will be giving it back, and he did give back tonight, as good as he got.
He's not a man that, well, a lad that won't give back as good as he got. There's the championship points, of course. That's why they'll go into the next race, the second round of the championship. Circuit of Americas in Austin in Texas. We're looking forward to going there, and if we've had as good entertainment as we've had here this evening under the floodlights in Qatar, go and buy your tickets quick, because it is going to be one hell of a Grand Prix race.
3 fantastic races here tonight in
I'm
the
shattered.
night sky in Qatar.
I don't know about you, I'm absolutely shattered.
I'm buzzing.
Yeah. It was fabulous.
It was pretty special, we have to say. Andrea Dovizioso 7th in the race. He knew it was going to be tough.
He did okay.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, and Nicky Hayden behind him as well. So it's a good, solid start for
Gave them all a
Ducati.
boost in practice and qualifying, didn't he?
I don't know what the chants are about.
They're all Marquez fans.
Oh, good. Because I think Rossi will get the biggest reception when they do come onto the podium. So the 10th anniversary of racing here in Qatar, and as good a Grand Prix as you would want to see. Great start for Yamaha in the Constructors' Championship. First and second, you can't beat that. Honda, Ducati, ART and FTR, but it's going to be a battle throughout, one would imagine, between Yamaha and Honda.
Just think Rossi at one point in that race was down in 7th after being right up there at the start, ran it a little bit wide. He was forced to. Again, we hesitate to say mistake because I call it more an inconvenience that he was forced to pick the bike up, then had to get past Bradle. That took long enough, and then he was through on Crutchlow, Pedrosa and Marquez to take second place. It's superb ride, absolutely superb ride. Can't take anything away from Lorenzo.
Celebrates with the top CRT rider. That was Alicia Spargo, who finished in 11th place. Nobody saw Lorenzo, did they? Nobody saw him. No. He just cleared off.
Lorenzo will be really feeling confident after that one. Honda, well, they've got a star in Marc Marquez. They knew that anyway. The question now is, Danny Pedrosa has to respond. How can he respond?
Yeah, he'd be very, very disappointed being beaten by Marquez.
But it's never been his circuit, Qatar.
No, he's never won it. No, that's quite right.
Never won here. And we go to places like Jerez and circuits that he loves. This is not over here. This is just the start. There's 17 more to come. And if they're even half as good as that, we've got a great season in store.
Nicky Hayden already back looking at the data and working out the next Grand Prix. That so sums up Nicky Hayden, doesn't it?
Workaholic, isn't he, Hayden?
Yeah. Oh, Marquez.
Brilliant.
What an acquisition into MotoGP. I knew he'd have a go back at Rossi, didn't I? He just had to, didn't he? Because that's Marc Marquez. He looks like he really enjoyed himself.
Baby-faced assassin,
yeah.
isn't he?
Oh. You wouldn't mess with him, and the nicest lad you couldn't wish to meet, but not when he gets on a motorcycle. Lesson 1 today from Rossi, isn't it? He'll note it, and
yeah, probably employ it next time.
yeah, he will. Absolutely right.
Great ride on your debut there, onto the podium. Was it Lorenzo who took a podium here on his debut in 2008? Was it second place for Lorenzo when he did that year?
That's the year he had the big crashes, but then had the decent
results.
results.
Well,
yeah, he did. Yeah.
Third, second, and a win, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In his first 3 races, something like that. He was on pole, wasn't he, in the first year he came here? Anyway, something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Pedrosa looking disappointed, but he has still picked up some valuable points, so that's a good start. There's Lorenzo and Rossi, all mates at the moment.
Have you ever seen Rossi looking this happy for seconds?
Well, probably never for a second place, I don't think. Do you? No.
There's a lot of relief in there. There's memories in there. And we have the president of the Qatar Federation there as well, looking down on the scene below.
Well, full marks to the Qatar Federation providing such a great racetrack and the floodlights and everything that goes along with it.
Yeah, it's not quite, obviously it's not packed to the rafters with fans, but you do get a brilliant view, don't you, from the TV cameras at home.
So onto the podium for the first time this season. There's still 17 rounds to go. I don't know if my voice and Gav's voice will last if we get too many races like that. That was just fabulous stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. The return of Rossi and the arrival of Marquez and Lorenzo, the man to beat. I think that probably just sums it up. But fabulous night's racing here in Qatar. Podium ceremony any moment now. Don't forget the Moto2 and the Moto3 races that were equally as exciting. And we just look forward to arriving in Texas in just over a week's time for the round 2, the MotoGP, Moto2 and Moto3 World Championship. Rossi's bike is back.
Made it back. Must have been on the low loader. Come all the way after running out of fuel on the cool down lap.
I haven't seen the team as cheerful for a long time as well, have you?
No.
St. Jarvis, the man, I think, probably very instrumental in getting Rossi back to Yamaha.
What a day for Yamaha to start the season. What a day.
But Honda will fight back. Perhaps we're going to see a little bit more, certainly an encouraging signs from Ducati.
Riders just making their way up, because you see them in the ante-room. They'll be just taking on some water. Bit of a towel down, perhaps. It's not cold out there.
Carlo Espeleta, the CEO of Dornell Sports, he'll be thinking, this is all right. I quite like the look of this.
Sign up for this.
Yeah, Marquez and Rossi. That's what the big stories are probably going to be all about, with no disrespect to Lorenzo. Trying to push him along a little bit to get to the,
It's time to jump
Time to stop chatting, boys. Get out there on the podium. So it's his MotoGP debut. And what a debut it is. It's Marc Marquez in 3rd place after a battle royal with Valentino Rossi.
Rossi in 2nd. Jorge Lorenzo the winner. Step onto the podium. First time on the podium for Marc Marquez. Brilliant. 20 years of age. What a performance. Constructors' trophy is going to go to Yamaha, of course. First one to be handed out. Can't quite see it there, but see just on the left of Rossi. There he is.
And I tell you what, Marc Marquez in 3rd place, first time on the podium, first race. He's going to have many steps on the podium, probably the top step before this season ends, I can promise you.
Yeah. I mean, we've all said that. We're not surprised by it, that's the thing.
No.
It's just when someone lives up to the hype and delivers, there's nothing better. So, especially with someone with so much talent and promise and charisma as Marquez.
Listen to the cheers. 2nd place.
He was one of the riders who came out here before the circuit was even done to see about how progress was going on. And been here every year that we've raced here. Back onto the podium.
Warm applause from Jorge Lorenzo and Valentino Rossi. I think that's going to be a partnership to keep an eye on, but he's the world champion. He started the defense of that world title with a start-to-finish victory. Jorge Lorenzo wins here in Qatar.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please stand up for the national anthem of Spain.
Congratulations, Jorge Lorenzo.
The winner, MotoGP, Jorge Lorenzo. See you next year.
See you next year. We're going to see you in 2 weeks' time. The Circuit of Americas. America, Texas, prepare yourself for MotoGP. If it's like it's been today in all 3 classes, you are in for a very, very special treat. No champagne on the podium. the three riders are going to figure surely in the next 17 races. Line up for the photographs. The world champion Jorge Lorenzo to his right, the 9 times world champion Valentino Rossi to his left, the MotoGP debutant, 20-year-old Marc Marquez.